Hey guys, and welcome back to Left on Red. It's your girl Sierra, and I have two things I want to share at the top of this episode. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the Barbie movie, and I know what you guys probably may be thinking, like Sierra, it's August, we're almost in September. Barbie came out a month ago. I know, but I've seen it twice. Okay, I waited 2 weeks after it came out, and then I saw it over the this past weekend because it was $4 for National Cinema Day on Sunday. I saw it again, and when I saw it for the second time, I cried a little bit more. I laughed a little bit more. I smiled a little bit more. It's like when you watch something for the second time, you just kind of catch all these gems and you go through these emotions over and over again. I really enjoyed it, which is why I went to see it for a second time. So we have to talk about it. I know I'm late to the trend and the whole psychology and backbone of it. That's fine. It's good. We're still going to dissect it because I think there's a lot of parallels, obviously, with the Barbie movie to what we're seeing, like just in modern day, going on with women, patriarchy, and just all the issues. But really, Barbie and Ken's relationship, it is interesting. So we have to talk about that. But before we get into the Barbie movie, I have two things I want to announce. Okay, so the first thing is Left on Red season 2 will be premiering September 15th. And I'm so excited for season 2 because one, we have back-to-back guests. Okay, so I'm going to start out the episode with a short solo, like very short, and then we're going to jump right into me interviewing the guests. We have an astrologer coming on, we have an author coming on, we have a lady who went viral on TikTok talking about men not to marry. We're going to do a whole episode on that. We have an influencer who is a beauty influencer, that's now, so she still does beauty, but she talks a lot about mental health. So we're gonna have all the guests, and I'm just so happy. I have interviewed them, most of them at this point. Those episodes are getting edited, so it's very, very exciting. All of that happening. So starting September 15th into the rest of the year is season 2. And so we'll be doing back-to-back guests, and then every other week it'll be like a solo episode. So we'll have guests coming on every week, and then every other week it'll be a solo episode on Friday. So I'm so excited about that. We will not be taking a break from now until September 15th because we already took a break, guys. We took a break in July that I did not want to take, but I had to make sure Left on Red was safe and secure. If you get it, you get it. And then in August, we took a slight break, and then content has been really slow. I know I don't want it to be slow, but it's because I'm cooking up a few things behind the scenes, which leads me in to announcement number 2. I have been working behind the scenes on two things. But because you guys are gonna get this very soon, I'll say this first. I am currently in works of writing a narrative podcast. Um, I'm so excited to share it with you guys. The trailer is written, it's done, the plot is done, and we are now moving into writing the pilot episode. I am meeting with my friend who's helping me write. I'll announce his name upcoming because we're meeting very soon to get this pilot episode pretty much in production, in the works. We have a lot of things outlined, but once he's like fully signed on to do it, I'll let you guys know. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited to finally announce it. And I will have the trailer on the Left on Red page, so you guys will be able to listen to the trailer for it. You guys can kind of get the first little glance, and then of course it'll be a separate podcast, and so I will link that so you guys can follow and be up to date when the pilot episode comes out this fall. What I can tell you, it'll be a mini series. It's a romantic drama, and the title is called Secrets in the Sand. I'm so excited, guys. You understand? I am so excited. It's good. It's good. I'm not just saying that because it was my idea and I'm writing out the story and everything. It's good. So it's gone through a lot of revisions. Again, still going through revisions, but the trailer is solid. It's done. The plot is there. And we're now in the stages of doing the pilot episode. And once the pilot episode is done, and I mean done, I mean like it's written, it's recorded, it's been produced, final episode, I listened to it and I'm 100% satisfied. We are going straight into production with the rest of the episodes. And I'm really excited about it. So it'll be coming this fall slash winter. But yeah, I'm very, very, very excited about it. And the third thing, but I guess the second thing to this, with the Narrative Podcast, I am starting my own production company. So stay tuned. That'll be announced in September. The name and all that good stuff. It's currently in the works right now. I hired a designer to do all of everything down the mission. Like I obviously wrote the mission statement with her, but the mission statement, the whole brand guidebook, your colors, your fonts, logo, audience personas, the whole look and feel, plus the website, like a lot of money, time spent, but love and care is being put into my production company. So we are building it from the ground up. We're like literally it's in the infancy stages of being built, but as my production company is being built, I'm doing behind the scene works for the Narrative Podcast, Secrets in the Sand, coming this fall. Trailer is dropping in September. So I have like two things going on at once, plus Left on Red, okay, you guys, the baby, and then my actual real job. And I have several jobs. So I've come a long way because you guys have been with me when I was laid off with no job, when I was laid off and dumped. And so now I have like several things going on, and it's very, very, very exciting. So those are my announcements at the top of this episode. Let me know. I want to hear what you guys think. I'm so excited. Once I have more to share, I will. You guys know I will. But for now, Secrets in the Sand is coming, and it's a romance drama. So message me what you guys think it's about. I know obviously I said it's a romantic drama. I gave you guys the title. But I want to know like your theories on it, because it's gonna take you for a twist, for a ride. And look, Audible, I'm coming for you. My production company, we are going to make it like, I want you guys to listen to this Narrative Podcast and feel like you're in it, like you're fully in this podcast, and you're just like twist turns every 5 seconds. So yeah, guys, I'm very excited. Those are my announcements. Now let's get into the Barbie movie, okay? If you haven't seen it, heads up, spoiler alert. I'm gonna pretty much tell what happens, but I wanna dive into their relationship. Now, with Barbie, I think they did an excellent job showing Barbie herself, in the sense of like what women go through. Always, you got to be perfect, but you can't say you're perfect. You got to be, thin or healthy, but you can't say you want to be too thin. You got to, you're just dragged in all these different directions that, and look at Barbie. She is the stereotypical, beautiful woman who weighs a certain weight, who looks a certain way, who's well kept. And even she had that moment where she's like just broken down. And if you haven't seen the movie, I'll just give a brief overview. we're in the movie, we're in Barbie land, pretty much. Like we start this movie in Barbie land and we see Barbie's life, right? She's having this perfect life and she wakes up every day and she has her dream house with her girls. And then they kind of pan over to Ken and the narrator says, well, Ken never has a good day unless Barbie acknowledges him or something like that. And throughout the whole movie, Ken is pretty much fighting for Barbie's attention, and his job is beach, which I find funny. It's not lifeguard, it's not police officer, it is beach. His job is beach. What is beach? Nobody knows, but it's beach. But deep down, besides his job being beach, his job is to be in love with Barbie. His whole existence is to be an accessory to Barbie. Ken has no life, he has no job. Even his friend Alan, who was made for Ken, so Ken could look like he has somebody. Alan doesn't even have multiple people, he's just Alan, and we see that in the movie. Now there's multiple Kens, and obviously there's multiple, Barbies, but Ken doesn't have an identity, and we see that. And I remember watching the Barbie movies when I was younger, and in the Barbie movies that are now on Netflix, the relationship looks so much different. And obviously they're making it different for this movie, right? But I love, in my child opinion, I haven't watched it as an adult. I should probably have watched it before this episode, like the movies that they have on Netflix. But as a child, I remember watching it and thinking, oh, I love this relationship. Barbie has her life. She does what she wants. Ken, and I thought, Ken had kind of his own life, but he was very protective and loving of Barbie and her endeavors. Only to watch this movie and that protectiveness and love that was mutual is not there. It's very one-sided. And I felt for Ken and I felt for Barbie because obviously, again, it's not real, but you can tell in the movie, like he's trying, like in the beginning part, he's trying to impress Barbie, like Barbie, Barbie, da da da, and he asks her to sleep over, and she tells him like, no, like it's girls' night, you're not sleeping over. I don't want you here. You're my boyfriend. And even in the movie, they say my long-term, low commitment, casual girlfriend, which is pretty much what they were in this movie. Like this love that was in the Barbie like DVDs is not in this movie. And it made me ponder even more. Is this the fairy tale that we've been fed growing up? And I think about that, and even like this movie, like this fairy tale of like, you're gonna get your Prince Charming and it's gonna be great and he's gonna cater all to you. And I felt like the Barbie movie was a lens on all the fairy tale bullshit that we've been fed to realize it's not real. You have to have your life. You have to have your own identity. And so as we move throughout the movie and we see this rift in Barbie and Ken, Barbie's going through her own identity crisis because the human who's like playing with her, whatever, is going through a identity crisis, which is putting it on Barbie essentially. And Barbie's starting to get depressed and she gets cellulite, which I thought was funny. And she's her feet go flat and like she's like malfunctioning is what they're saying. But so she has to go into the real world to figure out what's happening. And as she's in the real world, she's having this full expectation that women are going to praise her and hug her and say, thank you for saving, mankind, I guess. And she gets this wake-up call that Barbie and who she, obviously portrays to be it's not like that for all women, right? Like she is the stereotypical Barbie, but not everyone is stereotypical Barbie. That's obvious. And she's going through all these motions of feeling self-conscious around men. Women don't like her. How do you know, just grapple in this world that is not always made, that really isn't made for women? And Ken comes into the real world and sees, wow, I've been treated like garbage by Barbie. And this is how I felt like he felt. And men actually rule the real world, and I can do all of these different things. And instead of saving Barbie, which I feel like he would have before they picked her up in the SUV, take her back to Mattel before they were going to bring her back to Barbie Land, he lets them pretty much take her, and he goes back to make it, Kendom and Ken's world, and try to get rid of Barbie Land. But the part of this movie that sticks out to me, that replays, and I shed a tear twice during this scene, is when, so Ken's already back in Barbie Land, and he has told all the other Kens, and this sounds so silly, like recapping this movie, but he tells all the other Kens, like, look what I learned in the real world. There's patriarchy, the men rule it. There's, let's turn this shit upside down, basically, which is what he does. Barbie is now coming back into Barbie Land as well. And she goes back to the dream house, which is no longer a dream house. It is Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa house. And they're getting into it. Now, this is the scene that I don't know why I should have teared twice, but I have. They're getting into it because, I'm going to set the scene for you. Barbie comes back to Barbie Land thinking all is reset in the world. I found the human that's been playing with me. I'm going to bring her back to Barbie Land, and they're going to see what Barbie Land is. She's coming in and seeing that it is slowly have been taken over by Ken. She pulls into her house, okay, to her crib. She gets to her house, and it is trashed. There's other couches, there's beers, there's a whole bunch of bullshit. There's video games, mini fridges, and Ken comes out in a fur ass coat. And they start arguing. And Barbie's like, this is my dream house. Get the fuck up. She's not saying get the fuck out. This is me just recapping it. She's like, get the fuck out. And Ken is like, it is my Mojo Dojo Casa house. That's it. And Barbie's like, you need to leave. And Ken just snaps and fucking loses it. And he's like, no, how do you think it made me feel? And like, that's the only part of the movie that like shook me. Like, I just had like a little shake. But not even just that. It's the part at the very end of this argument where he says, it's boys' night, Barbie. And just like slams the little, wooden door in her, kind of in her face. But before he closes the door, he says, how does it feel? How does it feel? Because the whole time when he was yelling at her, he was like, you didn't understand how much I loved you and I cared for you, and just really going in on this whole, all his feelings. But for some reason, I've seen the movie twice, I've shed a tear when he says, how does it feel? And I think I shed a tear because you could feel Ken's feelings, you could feel Barbie's feelings, but also probably because I can feel my feelings as well. And I just thought, how does it feel? How does it feel? And Barbie is crippled in sadness. And he goes to the top of the dream house, throws out all her clothes. I'm like, okay, this is some real baby daddy type shit. But he throws out all her clothes, and she gives up and just drops herself to the floor. And she's at her lowest of low. And I want to talk about that part because, one, we've all been at a very low point. But I think it is it it was like Ken had to hold him, like figuratively, right? He held a mirror up to Barbie's face because, like I said in the beginning, Barbie would tell him like, "Well, no, it's girls' night. No, I want you to come over. I don't want to be around you." Just give him the cold shoulder. And I don't think she's, again, they're dolls, right? So whatever. But Ken was manufactured for Barbie and only wanted to be, that's all he knew. Barbie, again, living in her perfect world, this is all she knew. I just don't, but she just didn't care for him that same way because she could have done anything. And I think a lot of us get into relationships like this, guy or girl, whether you're the guy and you're Barbie or you're the girl and you're Barbie or can't, apply it how it needs to be applied. But in the real world, we get into relationships out of convenience. Hell, it could have been an accident. It was somebody that you liked. It was a situationship, term relationship, who knows? And it's like you like them enough to stay around, but you don't love them. And Barbie doesn't love Ken. And Ken has no identity outside of Barbie. It couldn't last. It didn't last. And so, what do you do when you're Ken or Barbie? You're in a relationship where you have no identity. And I'll make it more practical for us to actually apply it. What do you do when you're in a relationship where your friends are his friends or her friends? Your job is close to their job or in the same industry. When you guys live together and you only do things together, you have no hobbies. You fight with each other, you make up with each other, you have no outlet. What do you do? And I think seeing Ken go through all of these emotions of trying to find his identity within Barbie, to getting revenge on Barbie and being hurt. And then at the end of the movie, Barbie does apologize to him, and she apologizes for not being fair, and like, not every night had to be girls' night, right? Not every night I had to, whatever, but I don't love you in that way. And Ken was very, very broken. But Barbie tells him, you have to find your own identity because it's Barbie and it's Ken. Not just Barbie and Ken, it's Barbie and it's Ken. And of course, we all know the shirt that says, I am Ken enough, which is so funny. But it's so important. And I cried during that scene as well. I laughed and cried this whole movie. And I think the moments I cried were those real touching moments, like, and it all had to do with Ken. I think I did cry too, for a Barbie scene. I cried when she was on the floor, when Barbie was on the floor crying. But I felt for Ken in a way that a lot of us try to be enough for certain people or even for someone, and it's just not going to work sometimes. And I think I also cried because I feel like I see a little piece of myself in Ken. Not a lot. I see more of it in Barbie, but a little piece of myself in, you just want to be enough. And why is me wanting to be enough not enough? And that's tough. That's really, really hard, especially when it's for somebody that you love. So we go through all of these emotions in the Barbie movie, and it just made me think, in the real world, it's so funny saying in the real world, in present day and how we are dating now in 2023, what can we take from the Barbie movie and apply it? And this is so important because I know all the time everybody says, I want to be a housewife. I want to be this. I want to be that. Don't get me wrong. I do too. But in a smart way. And I think we need to center ourselves and decenter men or women, however this applies. And what I mean by that is, instead of always saying, oh my God, I want a boyfriend, I want a girlfriend, I want to get married, I want to do this, I want to do that. Oh, I'm going to be married in the next 6 months. And mind you, you're single as a dog, but I'm going to find something. And you're just wrapping your mind going crazy. Now, I do agree in setting the intention. Now, if time is ticking, depending on your age or whatever, or you want to be in something serious and you decide to get serious, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna meet people, I'm gonna get set up, I'm gonna do this. Great. But before you do that, center yourself. Have a life. Get a hobby. You only really need 2 or 3 friends in this world. I personally like even numbers, but I feel like an odd number is good in case one person acts up. You got 2. You only need a solid 2 or 3 friends, and you need a hobby and a job. Those 3 things to center yourself, and obviously all the things that come with that: self-care, therapy, what the hell ever. But you need a life. That's where I'm getting at. Center yourself by having a life that is not just gossip and bullshit. Now, gossip and bullshit is just part of life, but you have to have a life. Like, you need a hobby. You want to play tennis, you want to play golf, you want to play pickleball, you want to go on a run, you want to join a running team, a soccer team, a painting team, a workout. Child, I don't know. Do something that is consistent. You want to go out on solo dates, enjoy your own company. You want to have a job, okay? And you want to have your own identity. Everything else, like therapy, self-care, all that's going to kind of fall into you centering your life. You got those things, then sure, you're on that kick to get serious about dating, then go ahead and do it. But you cannot center a man or woman and bitch, you're not centered. And we've seen this in our friends and family. They center everyone else. Okay, I got a boyfriend, I got a girlfriend, I'm seeing this, whatever, but their life is in fucking shambles. They don't got no job, or they don't got no car, they don't got no hobby, they don't like their own personal life is just drifting by, it's not solid. But they want to make sure that their man is fed and okay, their girl is fed and okay, but they're not even fed and okay. Feed yourself, center yourself, have your own life, and then haul ass on relationship. And that's why that was my takeaway from the Barbie movie. Haul ass. And this goes for the girls who want to be a housewife too. I need you to have your own money, okay? And that's a separate episode. And I will be bringing somebody on that is going to really give us the lowdown on the housewife life and what it really entails. So stay tuned. So I'm not going to dive into that, but have your own money. Have your own money, have your own life. Ken did not have his own life, and it literally broke him into the end of this movie. And I felt for him. So if you were debating on seeing the Barbie movie, I'm telling you right now, I give it 5 stars. Okay. If I could do a 10 out of 10, I would, but I'm gonna give 5 out of 5. And one last point I want to make. I don't think I give guys a hard time, but I have been told I give guys a hard time on my platform. And I have several videos of guys like ripping me a new one in the comments, but that's fine. But I will say this. I do think guys have a bit more pressure when it comes to dating, a tad bit. I do think a lot of guys feel like Kens and don't know how to express it, unfortunately. And I don't give guys grace ever, like ever. And I'm not doing this to give guys grace, but I am bringing up this point because I think a lot of guys feel like Ken and do what Ken did, in the sense of when Ken realized patriarchy and went back to Barbie Land, the first thing he told the guys, but what did he do? This dude got a what is it? A box. He got boxing gloves in the boxing bag. He got a mini fridge, beer, a video games chair. Start going to the gym allegedly, doing a whole bunch of shit. Got the was like the arm pull to mask, in my opinion, to mask his true feelings. And I think we see guys do that now. When guys are hurt or don't know how to express themselves, what do? They're like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to go to the gym, become a gym rat, work out extra hard, drink hella protein shakes, and I'm going to date every girl when I get fine. And that happens. We all know a gym rat guy who has no personality, who tries to date anybody because they're so hurt from the third grade crush. And that's kind of what Ken did. Now, Barbie's not his third grade crush, but that's pretty much what Ken did. And I think we can give guys a tad bit more grace and openness to express their feelings in the world and in dating, so they don't have to feel like they need to go and buy things and turn into a gym rat and turn stone cold, more importantly, stone cold, to mask the pain. So let me know what you guys think. That's my take on Ken. That's my take on the Barbie movie and how it relates to the relationships that we're going through right now. Like I said at the top of this episode, guys, I'm so excited. Season 2 is coming September 15th of Left on Red. Like I said, we have full guests coming on. We're doing guests every other week. We'll be doing solo bonus episodes on Fridays. We are chugging along. So make sure you like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Please leave a review. It really does help the podcast. And get ready for Secrets in the Sand. Okay. My new narrative podcast trailer will be out mid-September. And episodes are gonna come out fall and winter. So end of year, get ready. But I'm so excited. So let me know what you guys think. DM me about this episode, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.